Good evening, televiewers. Welcome to this other edition of Prime Hour on Media Prime. Today is the 8th of March, a day traditionally reserved to celebrate the woman. So this day we are honoring women, asking the question as to whether women could do better, making our communities better if they were given greater roles in decision making positions. We are using this platform and opportunity to wish a wonderful Women's Day to all the women, especially those who watch us almost every day. We hope that you've taken very good care of your husbands to prove that what we usually do, you can do better. Woman, eh?
Hey.
Okay, we are going to be discussing this evening with panelist Afika Pashibel is in the house with us. She runs an NGO and is also a rights activist, very involved in many issues. We are glad to have you with us.
Thank you. Good evening. Happy Women's Day to us, ladies.
How
it's
are
a
you?
pleasure. I'm fine, thank you.
Did you go out to celebrate?
I didn't go out to celebrate, but I was out working. I did a radio sensitization. Yeah, to tell women the significance of this day, because I have a feeling that Cameroonian women, most of them misunderstand what this day is all about.
Okay. Also with us is Arlette Puba, no?
Oui, Arlette Jean Poupa.
Puba, yeah, who is representing the PCRN movement led by Cabral Libi. Bonsoir et bienvenue.
Bonsoir, merci de m'accueillir sur votre magnifique plateau. Vous allez m'excuser si je ne m'exprime pas aussi bien en anglais que...
Non, allez-y. Yeah.
Donc, je suis ravie d'être avec vos auditeurs, vos téléspectateurs, je dois dire. Et bonne journée à toutes les femmes. Commençons par moi-même.
Le PCRN, dans votre formation politique, ça s'est bien célébré?
Oui, nous avons organisé différentes activités depuis le début de la semaine passée. En fait, de la semaine passée jusqu'aujourd'hui, nous avons organisé de nombreuses conférences, des activités. C'est vrai que les activités sportives n'ont pas pu réellement avoir lieu à cause des mesures barrières. D'ailleurs, je tiens à le préciser, portons nos masques, c'est le masque sauve des vies. Donc, j'incite encore une fois de plus vos téléspectateurs à continuer à respecter les mesures barrières. Donc, nous avons fait des formations pour encourager, expliquer aux femmes ou leur faire comprendre qu'à l'intérieur d'elles, il y a déjà tout ce qu'il faut pour faire la différence. Il suffit simplement pour elles de prendre les choses en main et de s'activer pour leur autonomisation, puisque c'est la clé aujourd'hui de leur succès.
Okay. Also with us is this dynamic lady, they call her Ruth Tembe. With Business Development Manager, Brand and Marketing Strategist Publisher, President of the Cameroon India Business Council, and founder of Avicom, African Vision Communications Group, Elion Herb and Lewa. She has had older experiences. She's committed to developing the African entrepreneurial ecosystem with a focus of youth and female entrepreneurship in Africa. She's worked in the Ghanaian media companies like the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, City FM, and Ghanaian Observer. The caps are too many, eh? Madam Ruth, good evening and welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kumlenad, for having me. And I want to wish a happy Women's Day to all of the women watching us at this time.
How did Avicom? How did they celebrate?
Well, today was just a working day, like a normal, like all other days. Just that we had mentoring. Since we mentor, I am a mentor. I had some ladies that I was mentoring online because these days we are harnessing the power of the digital space to
do most of our activities. So we had an online mentoring session in the morning, and then I was getting ready to be here.
Okay. We are also awaiting the arrival of Kiven Brenda, who is a journalist. She will be joining us in the course of the program. I'll start with you, Pachibel Feka. What are Cameroonian ladies celebrating today? It is true, today is International Day of the Woman, but in Cameroon's context, what impression do you have of the celebration that is carried out by the government, by your sisters, by almost everybody?
Exceptionally this year, I am very happy with the celebrations, because this is what and how the Women's Day should be celebrated. It is not all about the uniform, because when they produce these fabrics, how beneficial are these fabrics to these women? So at least women did not get into unnecessary polemics over the fabric. So not manifesting by wearing the fabric helps them, and I am super happy again, because they're not going to go drinking, because normally that is what the rural woman knows and understands to be the Women's Day, that it's all about sewing a new kaba, drinking, staying out late, and then those whose spouses cannot give them the money to get these things get into unnecessary fights. So this year, exceptionally, because there are no manifestations, there is the pressure to get the fabric is not there, and then women have spent more time tackling their issues. There is the COVID, there is the crisis, there are so many issues that women have spent time tackling. So I think this is the very first time that women have had to talk to themselves by themselves and really get into their needs and have understood what this day means.
Where and what have they been tackling?
For instance, we know with the confinement and the limitations in activities as per COVID, it is not a secret that violence is on the increase at homes, at job sites, and all of that. So with the women, with all of that, I know press conferences looking at the theme for this year. So women have been talking about leadership in the COVID period. So they are able to talk about their abuses. They are able to know their potentials, and they are able to give out the best in them this year, exceptionally.
La célébration, est-ce que vous êtes content de la manière cette journée a toujours été célébrée au Cameroun?
Pendant longtemps, j'ai partagé le point de vue de la dame.
Pachibel.
C'est-à-dire que...
Pachibel.
Vraiment, c'est vu que je dis la dame. C'est compliqué.
Okay.
Alors, pendant longtemps, j'ai partagé son point de vue jusqu'à à comprendre un certain nombre de choses. Pourquoi le choix de rendre cet événement festif? Il faut quand même qu'on se rappelle d'où l'on vient, en fait. Pendant longtemps, les femmes, d'ailleurs, ça n'a pas véritablement changé. Elles occupent encore les postes les plus, on va dire, subalternes. Si vous sortez aujourd'hui, vous allez les voir là dehors en train de faire du call box, voilà, vendre des bonbons et autres. Ce sont des activités qu'elles mènent 7 jours sur 7. Parfois, elles n'avaient même pas de repos. Je pense que c'est dernièrement qu'on a commencé même à mettre à imposer des jours de repos pour qu'elles se reposent. Et le 8 mars était généralement une journée festive parce que c'était le seul jour où elles pensaient à elles. Parce que pendant toute l'année, une femme, elle pense à son mari, elle pense à ses enfants, elle pense à ses frères, elle pense à ses soeurs, elle pense à toute la famille. Et quand elle finit ça, il y a encore son petit boulot qu'elle a, sa petite activité qu'elle mène. Donc, ce qui fait que pendant pratiquement toute sa vie, en fait, elle s'occupe des autres, elle ne s'occupe jamais d'elle. Et c'était ce jour où elles avaient justement l'occasion de sortir et d'être entre elles, les femmes, s'amuser. Parfois, ça a beaucoup débordé. Mais j'ai fini par comprendre qu'en réalité, c'était un ouf de soulagement qu'elles avaient. Elles pouvaient penser à elles ce jour particulièrement.
Est-ce que c'est ça le but de cette célébration?
Je parle de l'interprétation qu'elles en faisaient.
Okay.
Là, je tiens à le préciser. C'est vraiment l'interprétation qu'elles en faisaient parce que c'était une façon pour elles déjà de... Parce qu'on ne peut pas commencer à parler des droits des femmes si elles ne prennent pas conscience d'elles-mêmes d'abord. Et donc, c'était nécessaire effectivement qu'elles prennent d'abord conscience qu'elles sont une entité à part entière et qu'elles sont une valeur unique. Et aujourd'hui, c'est plus difficile, c'est plus rare de voir que nous festoyons le 8 mars parce que en réalité, on voit très bien qu'en termes de droits, de libertés, certaines libertés aux femmes ont vraiment évolué. Et aujourd'hui, on peut se permettre de faire beaucoup de choses qu'à l'époque, elles n'avaient pas fondamentalement la capacité ou même, elles n'avaient même pas conscience de cela. Nous, on a plus cet avantage-là. D'où on perçoit plus la chose comme étant de l'extravagance. Et pourtant, pour les femmes rurales, pour ces Bayam Selam, pour toutes ces femmes-là qui travaillent 7 jours sur 7 et qui n'ont pas véritablement les moyens ou le temps même de penser à elles, c'était aussi un moment pour elles. Mais aujourd'hui, on voit très bien que les choses évoluent positivement. Il y a beaucoup plus d'associations, d'ONG qui pensent à les encadrer, à faire de ce jour, au-delà de l'aspect festif. Parce que nous, les Africains, on a d'abord cet aspect qu'on aime célébrer les choses, parce qu'on célèbre la vie tous les jours. Parce que dans notre culture, c'est une bonne chose. La vie, il faut la célébrer au quotidien. Donc, oui, elle le faisait, malheureusement ça a traîné beaucoup de dérives, mais on voit très bien que les choses changent de plus en plus et ça il faut le préciser.
Did you also see it as a day that rather brought a lot of pains and problems in many relations and couples because either the man would not purchase the fabric, either the man would not want you to stay out beyond a certain time, and lots of confusions. Maybe the man would want you to go out with her, but you would prefer, or ladies may prefer to go on their own, and there are lots of problems generated because of this thing.
Thank you for giving me the word. What I'll say is that your question at this point in time, when it comes to women and their behavioral patterns, I think it doesn't hold.
Okay.
It doesn't hold because more and more women are getting conscious of, the role that they're supposed to play in the society. Besides, that's why maybe if you invited us, that's why we're here, because we are activists and we are out, to let these women know that, look, there is something better, or there's something called value that you can add to your own life, not looking at, what society or what is supposed to be happening out there. So when you talk about women having problems in their homes, I think that was a thing of the past.
Okay.
Because from what I witnessed, more women today, on this day, starting even from the 1st of March, they've been going to conferences, trying to, upgrade themselves, their skills, trying to listen to...
You are saying that after the program we are going to Bonamusari will not soulever le Kaba, is no longer there?
I don't think so. Okay. More and more women are very conscious of the fact that there is more, that they can do than to soulever le Kaba. Yeah, I think so.
And even if they'll be there, it will not be like before.
Yeah.
It will not be like before.
Yeah,
right, because of the consciousness or because of the restrictions imposed by COVID?
Not even because of the restrictions imposed by COVID, because even last year, last 2 years, last 3 years, we witnessed a lot of women being engaged in more, valuable activities than going out for drinks and all that.
Now, what you guys are saying, I know you are involved in some non-governmental organization activities, you also, and I'm sure the PCRN, because they say they have been doing trainings. But let's look at the celebrations from the government perspective. From the government's perspective, it is about the fabric, then the traditional march pass, and that's it. Do you think that this day should be celebrated differently? Because even out of the communique that banned the celebration, we still would have seen the traditional march pass and the festivities around.
Yeah, I think this day should be celebrated differently. The government is limiting the woman a lot. The government takes a lot of decisions for women. The government does not give the woman the opportunity to carry herself, do the things she can do and how she wants it to be done. So personally, I would want government to let the women manage the day by themselves. The fabrics, we are tired. It's not like the government gives the fabrics for free. These fabrics are very expensive. And imagine the rural women who do not have a means of survival. How do they get this fabric? And there are some groups in which it is imposed on them. You must have the fabric because you belong to this group. There is no subvention for that. So government, the fabric to me doesn't just make sense.
Okay.
Government should do better. Government should do better for the women. If the government really has the women at heart, the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and Family should be allowed to handle this day in collaboration with other women groups in Cameroon. We deserve better.
You deserve better. Some persons think that this is a day that should be set aside to honor those outstanding women at all levels, at government, private levels, the best farmers. This is a day that they should use to celebrate them so as to inspire other women to want to emulate. Hein? Je ne sais pas si vous avez compris ma question. Il y a des personnes qui pensent que ça devait être une journée consacrée à célébrer les exploits de la femme rurale, les femmes enseignantes et d'autres.
Il faut d'abord revenir sur l'origine même de la célébration du 8 mars. En général, il faut qu'on se rappelle pourquoi le 8 mars, pourquoi pas un autre jour. Si ma mémoire est bonne, c'est en 1857, un 8 mars, que un patron assassine pratiquement plus d'une centaine de femmes dans son usine. Et des années, plus de 50 ans plus tard, il y a un mouvement féministe qui naît en Angleterre et elle commence donc à réclamer justement un jour pour les femmes. Essentiellement pour les femmes, parce que on s'était rendu compte que dans la société, les femmes n'avaient pas le même droit. En fait, elles étaient même considérées moins que des animaux à la limite. Il fallait donc qu'elles se mettent à se revendiquer, et elles ont commencé à revendiquer précisément le droit de voter. Ce qu'en France on les a appelés les suffragettes. Et c'est de là en réalité que ce mouvement féministe est né et a permis de mettre sur pied, a été validé justement par l'ONU quelques années plus tard, comme la Journée internationale de la femme. Donc, vous comprenez que c'est d'abord une journée de deuil en réalité, parce que c'est une journée qui est d'abord là pour commémorer des femmes qui sont parties. Mais cette perte, en même temps, a permis justement de faire naître un certain sentiment, une certaine rébellion auprès des femmes. Et c'est cette rébellion-là, peut-être qu'on perd de plus en plus au niveau, quand on décide de prendre l'aspect festif de la chose. Mais nous, il faut qu'on prenne aussi en considération quelque chose. Ça, c'est pas pour dédouaner le gouvernement. Certes, il y a beaucoup de choses qui doivent améliorer, mais il faut qu'on comprenne que le niveau d'éducation n'est pas le même entre le sud, le nord, l'est et l'ouest. C'est pas le même niveau d'éducation, dans le même niveau de compréhension même. Ce n'est pas encore, pour certaines femmes, c'est une logique de revendiquer leurs droits. Mais pour d'autres, c'est quelque chose même que ce n'est même pas envisageable. D'ailleurs, c'est bizarre qu'on soit aujourd'hui en train de demander l'égalité, alors que c'est nous les femmes qui éduquons. À la maison, c'est nous les femmes qui éduquons les garçons. Pourquoi donc le garçon grandit à la fin, il commence à dire que les femmes sont en monde? Parce que nous, les femmes, on lui dit chaque jour que tu es l'homme. C'est toi qui portes la culotte, c'est toi qui vas porter les responsabilités. À la femme, on dit, va laver les assiettes, va préparer la nourriture. Donc, il y a d'abord ce côté aussi éducation qui prend le pas. Et ce type d'éducation est plus criard dans les zones rurales. Parce que là, c'est vraiment basé sur la tradition, sur la foi, sur un ensemble d'atouts culturels qui ne permettent pas l'éclosion. Maintenant, on peut revendiquer, on doit d'ailleurs le revendiquer, parce que en réalité, on voit très bien que même s'il y a une évolution, elle n'est pas encore suffisante. Quand on regarde aujourd'hui, on a eu les dernières élections locales. Vous regardez, il n'y a aucune femme qui est présidente d'un conseil régional. Si vous allez même encore dans les super mairies, il n'y a aucune femme qui est super maire. Donc en fait, l'élection locale en réalité a pratiquement abandonné les femmes. Si vous regardez même les régions, à la tête des régions, il n'y a pas de femmes. Pourtant, les femmes font le concours de l'ENAM et elles le réussissent. D'ailleurs, elles sont souvent même majeures de promotion. Mais comment se fait-il qu'au moment des nominations, en ce moment-là, il y a cette restriction-là? Donc, au niveau de notre évolution, de notre épanouissement, on se rend bien compte que même quand les femmes font ces efforts-là, à un moment donné, il y a comme des blocages. Maintenant, ces blocages sont à tous les niveaux. Il faut aujourd'hui que le MINPROF arrête d'être simplement un ministère qui apparaît le 8 mars et qui disparaît le 8 mars. Parce que comme Mme Abena est sortie aujourd'hui, on va encore la revoir en 2022. C'est encore là où on va la revoir. Sauf si elle a encore une loi sur les mini-jupes à nous imposer. Parce que c'est la seule fois où on l'a vue vraiment très présente sur les médias. Mais à part ça, elle n'en parle pas. Voilà, le simple code même de la famille, puisque c'est MINPROF, elle-même, ministère de la femme et de la famille. Oui, le code de la famille, on attend toujours, ce n'est toujours pas arrivé.
On attend toujours, ce n'est pas arrivé. But is this a day worth celebrating in Cameroon, given the context in which the nation finds itself? We are living thousands of people who have died in the southwest and northwest regions, and the killings are still continuing with some persons who were killed last night around Akum. And we also know of what is happening in the far north region with Boko Haram. Many lives are taken. Should Cameroonian women celebrate this day? Isn't it also a period of mourning?
It's true that we are very saddened by what's going on in our nation, the division, the war, the strife, and all of that. That's very true. And it affects women, most especially, because women are like the backbone of the society.
Their children are being killed, their husbands are dying.
Killed. They are the ones who are emotional, they are the ones who are the caretakers and all of that. And with all this happening in front of their eyes, really, they are the ones who are really, really affected. You know, there are roles that everyone needs to play in a society, you know. Are we supposed to celebrate this day? What I would say is, I don't know if we are supposed to celebrate this day. This day mainly is a day where we fight, where the rights of the women are, you know, revisited.
Like she was saying.
Yeah, where the rights of the women are revisited, and, you know, women's conditions are revisited, where, you know, we have to assess where the woman folk is at this point in terms of socio-economic development and all of that. And, you know, the core of these women in the northwest and in the southwest, they are really being touched.
We've seen women digging graves here to bury their husbands.
Exactly. So what are we doing? I think instead of saying that we are celebrating a day like this, we're celebrating in a day like this, I sincerely think that it's supposed to be a day where we call for awareness. We raise awareness, you know, because in this part of the country, so many people are not aware of what's going on in the northwest and in the southwest. And so I think it's a day where we raise awareness, where the civil society or NGOs that way, you know, call put out word, communicate, and say, this is what is happening to women out this way. They need help. There's something that's supposed to be done in order for, their condition to also be ameliorated. Not that we focus just this way and say we are celebrating when it's not supposed to be, because
yes, just to add to what Ruth is saying, the first thing, the impression I have is the women who represented Cameroon in Beijing did not do justice to this day.
Okay.
I have this strong feeling that they did not understand anything, because they were the ones who attended the Beijing conference. They were the ones who came back with the report. And what they gathered from there, I am not sure it is what they gave back, because if they actually brought back what they got from the conference, women normally on this day, looking at other countries and seeing what is going around, normally women on this day have to really create awareness. It's a day for evaluation. It's a day for reflection. So women of the Northwest or Southwest regions do not have to leave their regions to come to the other regions to do that, because we have people from these regions in other regions. So this is supposed to be an opportunity where women in these other regions come out with their problems. If they see that the women in the Northwest and Southwest regions are going through a lot, it is now left for them to support these women, do something in solidarity with these women in the other regions. And so it goes all over the country. But because they did not understand that it was a day for them to be true to themselves, look into their problems, evaluate, see what they did that was good and see what they did that was bad, and propose solutions into getting what they really want for themselves. So the day was not well understood by the women who represented us out there.
And you were talking about the government, playing what role they are playing in today. I think that this also falls in their hands. Like, what is the government? What is the Ministry of Women?
That's the question. That's the question I have for Kiven
doing with regards to this.
Yes, that's the question I have for Kiven. Brenda, who is just joining us. Vous avez soulevé cela que le ministre, vous avez entendu le ministre parler, et sûrement on va encore l'avoir 2022. Yes, but the question is, we are talking about sisters who are living in very difficult situations in the Northwest and Southwest region. Was this not also an opportunity for the minister of that ministry to go to, say, Boya, Okumba, or Limbe, which is safer, to say we are doing this in solidarity with our sisters who are in difficulty, or use this day as a day for general awareness? Let the mothers of Cameroon across all 10 regions to say we are raising our voices to what is happening in solidarity with our sisters. Yes, our sisters who cannot celebrate today.
I actually think that going down to the Northwest or Southwest to deliver the message will not make any difference if she did it in Yaoundé.
Okay.
Because we have limited the sufferings of women to the Northwest and the Southwest.
Exactly.
We don't know what women in the far north who are facing Boko Haram attacks are going through. They are going through devastating situations. We saw how their ears were chopped off, their hands cut off. Those women, their stories are underreported. Yes.
And the babies.
Yes. We don't really have a representation of journalists over that area as in the Northwest and Southwest. So the stories from that area is underreported. But I think that if she has to come out there, she should speak in solidarity to all the women who are going through hell in crisis-hit regions, not just the Northwest and the Southwest. And women, as she should act, it's not just, we should not hear the women of empowerment only when it comes to Women's Day or Women's Day week. That's when we hear them start coming out and saying this, that, or that. But we have situation, girls have been raped. Do we have any communique from the Ministry of Empowerment? No. This has happened to this girl, to this woman. Do we have any message or something? No. It's only when President Pobia talks that we come in and say, yes, we are supporting the head of state in this. What about your own view? What about your own role? You are placed there for women. and young girls. What about your role? So, to me, going down to the southwest, symbolically. What has changed? The other people have been going down to the northwest to solve all the problems.
When I raised the issue, Kiven, I raised the issue saying that we have trouble in the northwest and southwest as well as Boko Haram up north.
Yes.
Why not even move to Mora?
Or the east.
Yes, one of these areas. Why not go to the east region where we have
the Seleka?
Yes, Seleka Rebel.
Yes.
Go up north.
Yeah, the thing is even recognizing those problems, but actually, because I feel that they are minimizing the intensity of the problems that all these women go through. So if you minimize the intensity of these problems, how will you first of all have the intention of going down to the Mora or going down to the
because the question, pourquoi je demande c'est là que chaque année on a vu les décennies passées, on réunit toutes les femmes pour célébrer 7 jours. Mais maintenant, les femmes dans le nord sont en difficulté, nord-ouest sont en difficulté, et on ne voit pas la solidarité des femmes.
Effectivement, cette solidarité, on ne la voit pas, surtout une solidarité même gouvernementale. Mais on remarque que ils ont cette habitude-là. Je veux dire que face à la crise anglophone, il y a eu comme une sorte de blackout. Personne n'en parle. Sauf, on attend tous que, je sais pas, attends, je sorte. Le
président de la République.
Voilà. Mais la dame l'a souligné tout à l'heure, on a vu des femmes mourir. Et on attendait le président, mais on attendait au moins, c'est la mine prof. Et là, on ne l'a pas vu. On sait très bien que lors des guerres, les premières victimes sont les femmes. D'ailleurs, ce sont les femmes et les enfants sont les deux personnes qu'on protège lors de ces guerres. Mais on a des images, on a des vidéos où des femmes vraiment se font attaquer et silence radio. À ce moment-là, elle a oublié qu'elle est ministre de la femme, elle doit faire la promotion de la femme. Mais là, dès que le 8 mars, peut-être parce qu'on n'a pas tué ces femmes le 8 mars, peut-être c'est là où elle allait parler. Mais non, cette mobilité-là, vraiment, quand vous voyez la mère là, elle ne met pas encore beaucoup marcher, aller loin. Elle est aussi fatiguée. Elle-même aussi, elle est... Hein? Il faut comprendre, c'est une grand-mère. C'est ça le problème aussi quand on a un gouvernement vieillissant. C'est-à-dire que même les choses les plus basiques, c'est-à-dire la simple visite, parce que parler même encore de solidarité, la simple visite, ça devient un rêve en réalité, parce qu'ils ne savent véritablement plus ce qu'il faut faire. Et chacun reste là en espérant que le bon Dieu vienne trouver des solutions. Moi, je pense que, notamment aux femmes du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest, ceux qui se font assassiner, ce sont vos enfants. Et ceux qui tuent, ce sont même aussi vos enfants. Il faudrait aujourd'hui qu'on sache que le gouvernement, on attend depuis qu'il donne des solutions, il n'y arrive pas. Et même s'il propose des solutions, ça sera des mesures. Ce qu'il faut, c'est le pardon. Et je pense que si les femmes se lèvent, je pense qu'à un moment donné, quand une femme sent le danger, que son enfant soit risque la mort, soit, elles sortent et elles sont capables de dire, toi, viens t'asseoir ici. Calme-toi, baisse les armes, je sais pas, fais quelque chose, mais arrête-moi ça. Ça, on a cette capacité-là. Et je crois que les femmes du Nozo doivent essentiellement le comprendre qu'à un moment donné, on ne peut plus attendre de leurs solutions parce que ces solutions-là ne peuvent pas. Ils sont dans cette incapacité. Ils l'ont déjà démontré à suffisance. Peut-être que maintenant, nous les femmes, avec le cœur du pardon, avec le cœur d'amour qu'on a, on peut essayer de réunir les choses au niveau local. On peut faire des choses pour éviter ce type de massacre. Que des jeunes filles se fassent assassiner, que des enfants se fassent tuer. C'est tellement horrible.
Yes, women, they have done it. The thing is that nobody listens to them. Last year, how was it marked? All over internet, women had black. Yeah. They wore black. That's year many people do not have this fabric I have on.
You say women, but we have not seen a generalized mobilization.
This is what happened. Yes. Okay, the old blame is the women in the northwest and southwest haven't done enough. In reality, is this crisis limited only to the northwest and southwest women? No. It affects the whole country. Yes. For instance, Douala, Was this how Douala used to be? How is life in Douala now? It's challenging, right? It's challenging because the things I used to live from these regions and come to Douala, you can't have them. Life in Yaoundé is challenging because the things that left these regions to Yaoundé, it no longer comes. So we will not, it is true, the bitter truth is no one can tell your story better than yourself. So if you cannot push to let your story go across, then you will not get the help that you want. Like Mr. Kum rightly said, I have gone to Yaoundé twice. I have gone to Yaoundé, and all the 2 times I've been arrested. Because I want to create awareness about the situation in the Northwest and Southwest region. So would you say that is not enough? And it's not like I just got up and went. I contacted women in Yaoundé who promised, oh, we're going to come, we're going to support you. But on the D-Day, did they come? No, because it does not concern them. That is the attitude Cameroonian women have. As long as the hot charcoal is not on you, it is not your business. And again, so it is now left for people like you who are conscious, who think that there is a need for other women to join the women of the Northwest and Southwest region to seek solutions to their problems. Instead of blaming, no sane mother will want to carry the child and say, go and get killed. Or carry the husband and say, go and get killed. No sane mother does that. When Boko Haram used to be very hot, personally, I wrote, I spoke, I have videos online that I made in solidarity with my sisters up there. Yes, you can trace it, it is proven. But unfortunately, it is Northwest and Southwest. It is English speaking. It is affair Anglophone. So how do Cameroonian women in the other regions, how do they want us to behave? How much cry? How do they want us to cry? When the Kumba massacre came, it hurt everybody. Women agitated, everybody wanted to go to Kumba. Honestly speaking, I knew that that massacre was going to be the turning point in the lives of women in Cameroon. I knew that women were going to rise up to support their sisters in the Northwest and Southwest region to seek solution to this crisis. But alas, after those children were buried, what happened? Life returned normally, like nothing happened. So if the Northwest and Southwest women, we have to say our story, we have to sing our song, we have to sing our dirges, we have to cry, we have to do what we are doing. We cannot do for the whole of Cameroon. But when it started in other regions, we supported them. So Cameroonian women should think and feel and reason like women to join women of these 2 English-speaking regions to come up with solutions, lasting solutions to this crisis. Okay. So it's not that we are ignoring them, no. But okay. I am the only one who understands my pain and I can cry my pain best.
Madam Ruth, the question today is, can women do better if given better decision-making roles in Cameroon? Women always clamor for more rights. Who is holding you people back? Because she's just, that was another example now.
Yes.
So who is holding you people back? That, oh, my rights, we are not there.
Thank you for that question. That's a good question. That's a question that we have been, deliberating upon since time immemorial. Can women lead better if they are given the seat to do so? What I would say is yes. I'll say is yes. Yes, because we all know, the leadership qualities that are inborn in women from the word go. We all know the empathetic nature of women. We all know about, the way women are good at taking initiatives. We all know about how women are fighting, social vices in communities. We all know about that. And I think that all what women need is a push to let them know, because at some point, because this Women's Day celebration usually has its case in different situations in different countries, in different, different countries where this is being celebrated. In Cameroon, for example, I worked with one of the women who has this leading NGO in Cameroon, More Women in Politics, for example, and statistics show that women are not yet represented in that capacity on seats, government seats and all of that, decision-making seats, for example. And I would say that maybe that's how, or that's why this country is the way it is. Because, for example, if we're talking about Minprof, and she's the only woman in that capacity to take those decisions that pertain.
She's not alone, female minister, no?
She's alone.
Female minister.
I'm talking about in the women's department.
You want two ministers of women empowerment and the family?
No, I'm not saying two ministers. I'm saying if we have more women taking, having positions in the government. Having,
what if a woman was Minister of Territorial Administration?
Do you think
we'll see the Prime Minister?
Maybe if we had more women ministers,
important positions at decision-making position
level.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because
my question is that what you are saying is why you people cried in Beijing. You are still saying it today, 2021. What is holding you people?
Men.
The government.
They're not giving us
patriarchy.
Yes.
Cameroon is patriarchy.
It's patriarchy.
Yes.
They've not given
Cameroon
us that platform.
They've
not given us that platform. They've not given us that right.
Take the
How
example
many women? I'm talking about an NGO, more women in politics, for example.
It's patriarchy.
How many women are in the government, like with decision making? Apart from how many ministers do we have?
I know you come.
Why don't we have?
You come.
Why do we have women only in ministries that are,
Je vous suis très bien.
Vous voulez vraiment avoir au moins 30 ministres femmes? C'est ce que vous voulez, non?
Non.
Non, n'est-ce pas trop?
Vous voulez quoi?
On veut les ministres dans les positions qui sont
stratégiques,
qui impactent la société comme
vous voulez plus, n'est-ce pas?
Yes. And in
why can't a woman be the prime minister, for example?
Or territorial administration?
Why can't a woman be the
defense?
minister of defense, for example?
Yes, why?
Those are key positions.
Asking the questions.
No, we're asking.
Ce qui est bien, c'est que c'est moi qui milite dans un parti et c'est elle qui répond en cœur qu'il faut plus de femmes.
Exactement.
Dans les fonctions.
C'est ça ma question. Vous voulez au moins 30 ou plus de ministres. Maintenant, il y a des femmes qui veulent être prises.
That's not the
We don't want the minister at the culture. We want to send a woman at the level of culture.
Le sens de ce qu'on veut, c'est que si on a tous fait les mêmes études, on a toutes les mêmes capacités.
Exactement.
Pourquoi donc à des postes stratégiques où il faut des réponses systématiques, c'est à ce moment-là qu'on enlève les femmes. Pourquoi est-ce qu'il y a des postes vraiment le ministère des Finances, le Premier ministère, l'administration territoriale, pourquoi pas les forces armées? Pourquoi à ces postes-là stratégiques d'État, ce qui fait vraiment la force d'un État, on ne voit pas les femmes. Mais on a l'impression qu'on a créé ces ministères des affaires sociales, des choses comme ça, là, pour pouvoir nous caser quelque part. Donc, on pour respecter les quotas des 30%, on s'assure qu'on a 30%, donc, et on crée affaires sociales, les choses autour de Nyangala. C'est là-bas qu'on voilà, les petits ministères comme ça, là. Et bon, rarement on nous donne l'opportunité d'occuper des postes véritablement stratégiques. Et c'est ça la revendication, c'est le sens de la revendication. Parce que vous n'allez pas vous n'allez pas comprendre comment j'ai pris l'exemple de la région. Si on prend dans l'organisation déconcentrée les régions, on a les préfets, les gouverneurs, on a les sous-préfets. Mais il a fallu combien de temps pour qu'on ait enfin une femme préfète? Pourtant,
est-ce que je peux maintenant poser ma question? Parce que ça, ce que vous répondez là, c'était pas ma question.
Okay, ask your question.
Ma question pour vous est que vous tous, vous voulez plus de femmes ministres, femmes préfètes, femmes. Ça commence, c'est le président de la République qui les nomme, non? vous avez eu une
Par
femme...
exemple.
Oui, c'est le président de la République qui nomme tous ces gens que
We're even coming to that. We are coming to that part you're talking about.
Oui.
Maintenant, si vous savez que pour avoir plus de... il y a 10 régions, vous voulez 5 gouverneurs femmes, pourquoi ne pas militer pour qu'une femme devienne présidente de la République et puis vous faites ce que vous voulez?
Donc, on attend de devenir président de la République.
Non, c'est si
ça fait 40 ans quand même qu'on a un personnage qui est président de la République. Donc je crois qu'il y a beaucoup d'ambition. Même les hommes n'ont pas encore réussi à l'enlever. Et bon, peut-être que lui va donc choisir une femme quand il va partir, c'est ça.
Non, vous avez...
Donc c'est une ambition qui est tout à fait.
La plupart des gens qui votent, c'est les femmes, non?
On a pratiquement 1 million de femmes qui ont voté lors de la dernière présidentielle sur 3 millions. Donc, les femmes ne sont pas fondamentalement majoritaires. En fait, je vais même plutôt t'aider parce qu'il faut aussi qu'on soit assez...
Si les femmes veulent
c'est vrai
vraiment...
que ma condition de femme oblige à soutenir la solidarité féminine, mais il faut aussi dire que les femmes, on s'engage très peu. Si par exemple, je demande à mes compagnellistes, bon, ok, il faut qu'on nomme des femmes. Peut-être on va mettre des femmes à la tête des ministères importants. C'était-moi 2 femmes que vous pensez qu'elles peuvent au sein de leur formation politique, qui peuvent aujourd'hui assumer un poste de ministre de l'administration territoriale ou premier ministre.
Moi, je peux citer. I can cite them. We have women. We have women. The problem is appointing women who can't produce. The problem is this, Leo. We have a head of state, and we are telling the head of state that we want more women. Believe me, unless you can prove, there's no way you can prove me wrong until you put a woman at the Ministry of Defense, and you will tell me that the woman cannot stop this crisis. We have a man there. For how long has that man been there? The crisis, it gets from worse to worst. Look at Ministry of Territorial Administration. He's still a man. Look at all of those ministries. We still have that crisis is still going. If we don't have a woman there, tell me how you're going to convince me that a woman will not have done better than the man who is there right now.
What I'm saying is, you have the opportunity. You people have the opportunity. Elections are there. There is a woman. Since you claim that a woman can manage
I'm
better.
going to take the example of Madame Kawala,
yes.
who went for presidential elections. What happened to her? She was beaten on the streets. That's what happened to her. When other women start seeing that the head of state or whoever sends policemen to beat up a woman because she's trying to get to rise to a position where she can take decisions. What do you think the other women will?
Are there no women in the CPDM? She's a woman.
And who harass them?
Who harasses women in the CPDM?
Are you saying that women are afraid to militate? With
there is a problem of patriarchy in Cameroon.
That's our number one problem.
That's something that we cannot, sugarcoat.
Society tries to make it look
as a problem of patriarchy.
En politique, je vais relativiser.
I have a worry. Okay. Must you be a politician before you are appointed minister?
No.
Must you be? This is what I want to know. No. Because that's the impression I'm getting here right now. Because you're talking of more women in politics.
We are going one step down. My question is, it starts with politicking, because you could raise the issue of ministers. It is at that level that it is the president of the republic.
Why politicking, Leo? Why not?
We are going to look business. We are going to look.
Why not what the woman can do? You've seen the woman out there. The women you see them out there. The potentials, the knowledge on specific topics, climate change, all of those things. Why not look at those women? Why must they join CPDM, SDF, UPC, or which other party we have before you appoint them?
Yes.
No. Tell us. And then men too will not let their women. I have a problem because the society. Do you know the number of women who have shown interest? Do you know the number of women who showed interest in the last elections we had, the regional elections?
Can we go one?
And their
let
me even finish now.
Kiven, you are my colleague.
No, because you touched us. All right. Let me back up.
I'm saying that let us start with politics. We are going to come to the other aspects. The easiest way to put 50 ministers, female ministers, is to put a female president, so that she appoints more women, more this, more that. Why not start from there? Is the woman not the number one enemy of the woman?
Never. That is the mentality.
Yeah.
A patriarchy
Okay, men
is trying to impose. Men too are men's worst enemy.
Are we complaining?
Yes, and we are not complaining. We're not complaining that we are our enemies. You are imposing that we are enemies.
I'm asking, eh?
No, we are not. Women are not women's enemies.
So why did you people not vote Madam Kawala to be president so that she appoints 60 female ministers?
And did we tell you that we didn't vote for her?
Oh,
So yes, did we tell you?
Was stolen. That Professor Maurice Kamto.
Sorry.
You are saying that she won and the victory was stolen.
What usually happens to elections in Cameroon? Has there ever been a free and fair elections in Cameroon?
Never.
There's never been a free and fair elections in Cameroon, so I don't even want to get into that polemics.
And compared to Maurice Kamto, Madame Kawala was physically assaulted when she was running for president. That's something that's terrible and gross.
Tu avais quelque chose à ajouter, non?
Non, je veux dire que c'est vrai. Tu vois, il y a beaucoup d'engagement quand on écoute les femmes. On veut. Et au moment même de s'engager, là, on voit très peu. Parce qu'il y a aussi ce problème-là qu'il faut noter. Moi, j'apporte les médias au nom du PCRM. Et chaque fois que j'entre sur un média, on me dit, waouh, une femme. C'est pour dire qu'eux-mêmes, ils sont surpris parce que les partis n'envoient pas les femmes. Et quand tu reviens dans le parti, tu demandes pourquoi il n'y a pas plus de femmes. Tu te rends compte qu'il n'y a pas bousculade ou que les femmes s'engagent. Donc, je crois qu'aussi, si on doit pouvoir revendiquer, parce que cette revendication doit se suivre d'un certain nombre de choses. Parce qu'en politique, on ne te donne pas. Tu dois arracher, tu dois aller prendre. Malheureusement, nous, les femmes, on aime quand on est disciplinés, en fait. On aime faire les choses, prendre les choses quand c'est bien, c'est à point. La politique, malheureusement, parfois, ce n'est pas ça. Parfois, il faut aller cravacher. Parfois, il faut arracher. Parfois, même ce que tu mérites, il faut te battre. Et à ce niveau-là, peut-être que nous, les femmes, on a aussi cette petite crainte-là. Donc, si nous, les femmes, on veut plus de femmes à des postes stratégiques, il faut aussi que nous, les femmes, on s'engage un peu plus au-delà de l'action de la société civile, mais il faut aussi qu'on pense aussi à agir, à s'engager politiquement, à militer et à espérer les suffrages. Parce qu'on ne va pas aller chercher une femme Premier ministre, je ne sais pas, au quartier. Ouais. Il faut qu'elle ait un parcours, elle ait un vécu politique. Et c'est malheureusement parfois ce vécu politique, cette floraison-là. Parce que quand vous parlez de Madame Kawala qui a été candidate, mais une élection... C'est pas la première personne à aller à une élection et perdre. Dans tous les pays au monde, les gens vont aux élections, ils perdent. Mais ils reviennent et parfois ça passe, parfois ça casse. Parfois vous voyez Biden aujourd'hui, c'était sa 40e fois. C'est la 3e fois. Même pour lui, un homme, ce n'est pas du premier coup qu'on gagne une élection. Donc, ce n'est pas non plus du premier coup qu'on va espérer gagner des élections au Cameroun, même si on connaît que ces élections ne sont pas toujours très transparentes. Mais même au sein de l'appareil politique, parfois, je vois comment on investit les candidates. On doit pratiquement les supplier que, pardon, venez candidater. Parfois, c'est ça le problème aussi. C'est que nous, on veut. Mais au moment maintenant de taper du poing et véritablement voler, on voit que là, on disparaît. Et ça, c'est un problème. Parce que quand l'homme, il voit ça, il comprend donc que, en fait, tu ne sais pas ce que tu veux, tu n'es pas déterminé. Et
prendre des risques.
Voilà, et c'est parfois l'interprétation que les hommes se font. Et c'est pour ça que malheureusement, ils nous relaient parfois à des seconds rôles. Donc nous aussi, on doit pouvoir prendre cette confiance en soi pour parfois faire la différence et nous imposer. C'est pas à nous aujourd'hui de venir crier qu'il n'y a pas de femmes gouverneurs. Pourquoi même les femmes de l'administration des pieds elles ne sont jamais plaintes de ça? Pourtant, ce sont leurs droits qui sont bafoués.
C'est ce que je dis.
Mais ce sont des réalités.
Can I say something?
Mais
I would like to ask a question to my sister from PCRN.
Let
me make my point.
Yes,
let me make my point, right? All right. You belong to a party, and
Me?
well, let me just put it that way. You belong to a party. How many of you men who belong to parties take your women home and ask them to join the female wing, or ask them to be part of every meeting that you attend and the rest? I know of men who stop their women from politicking. I know of men who stop their women from attending empowerment meetings and workshops. And those are the very men who come and say, why are women not supporting women? Or why are women not brave enough to come out? Sister. But you are the ones back at home holding these women not to stand up, not to go. I don't know why you're using sister speak here, but you are the ones behind all of this. Why are men in political parties not taking their women for meetings and the rest, not helping?
You want power? Go and take power.
So no, you are stopping them. You are using their traditions. You are using the society. Yeah. You are stopping those women.
One of those women who are not married.
La politique n'est facile pour personne, que ce soit pour les hommes comme pour les femmes. Même les hommes,
on l'a pas compris.
Je te dis, il faut qu'on prenne conscience aussi de ça.
The women want power. They should go and take power. Should the man take them along?
You start by empowering the woman to know that she can do it.
I am empowering
you have to empower a woman. And when you start stopping this empowerment,
you want a man to empower you.
A woman who does it one day, I want to be minister. She needs to. She will grow it in her.
Okay, the man that has to empower the woman.
She has to be empowered. Allow her to go out there. Allow her to follow her dreams. Don't come and tell her that if you go out there, this marriage will not end. Don't threaten her about marriage ending and then it comes and end and the rest.
The few women who want to be pushed full before you know it, they are prostitutes. She is sleeping around with all these men.
Yes.
She is doing this. And who is cooking my food? Who is taking care of the children?
Even the lady at PCRN, you heard the way internet reacted to her candidature immediately. The insult, the pressure. If she didn't go through some empowerment, would she have been?
You saw the pressure that came on her, and she needed the full support of women. Did you receive? Est-ce que vous avez vu tout?
Moi, je l'ai appelé, On ne tente même pas de changer. All right.
Non, je vais pas reprendre.
What I can say is, so far, from the work that we are doing on the ground, is that there's a new generation of women who are unstoppable, but somehow along the line want to be stopped. But these women are rebellious because, they believe that they have a voice, they have, they have a message that they want to pass across. And I believe that this generation of women are coming up. That's what I will say to this, because the past generations, our mothers were very society driven, like they won't do some things because the men, because of men, tradition says, and all of that, and you would want to compare Cameroon, even the way behavioral patterns of women in Cameroon with, those women in Nigeria, for example. That it's two different, women in Nigeria have gone past that level that they are known to be the caretakers of the home and the kids. They are the ones to raise the kids and all that. That's why you will see more women in Nigeria in some kind of, key positions compared to Cameroon. We should admit that we are still at that level where in Cameroon, women are seen, or women want to be known for those that are staying back in the house to take care of the kids.
Okay, the women themselves want to be known.
No, it's that's what society, that's what the Cameroonian society has, stated or has put in place.
Let me end Ruth Tembe.
Yeah.
I read a very long profile of yourself here.
Yes.
I could not even finish it.
Yes.
Did you not empower yourself?
Of course, that's what I'm talking about. This new generation.
Why are you saying that?
That's why I'm talking about this new generation. And I said that our mothers were still at that level where society had it on them, or society imposed some kind of lifestyle on them, and they weren't able to take some key positions in the society. In the society, and I'm talking about this new generation. For example, see what Pashibel does. Look at the places she gets into. Look at how daring. Pashibel is just an example, and that's the new generation of women that I'm talking about.
You are going to shift the paradigm?
Of course.
We shall.
So in the next presidential election, we are going to see a woman.
Yeah.
You're going to see women.
Women.
Not only a woman.
More women.
Presidential election.
Yes,
Of
you will
course.
see women.
No.
Young
We had
women.
It's one person that becomes president.
You will see women.
Before one person becomes president, there are a lot of people who, you know.
Are you saying,
fight for the position.
Pashbel, that when you look across the political platforms that we have today, we have a few women who are heading political parties here. Madame Kawala, there's one woman, Estandang. Tu te rappelles, non?
Estandang Bafia.
On apprend seulement d'elle quand il s'agit des élections, non? Do you think, c'est vrai, c'est a party. Do you really think that women can handle political parties more than men? Is that what you think?
Any position of responsibility that you give a woman, she's going to give in her best, and she would have amazing results. Women, if women can, okay, I want to ask, is Vera Songwe not doing amazing job wherever she is? Isn't she doing great? So, no, excuse me, I am coming.
Yes.
I am coming. So if at that level a woman is doing great, what stops a woman from doing great when it comes to leading a political party?
So what stops her?
Now, it's not like the women do not have the will to do it, but the men in the party will not let them lead them.
Is it not men who are allowing
The
Kawala
men
to lead
will
them?
not let them lead them. Kawala.
How many men?
So how many men are civilized?
How many men?
How many men are very civilized to understand and say, okay, for
It's an
instance,
insult to us.
for instance, I want,
Yes,
if
so
I
we
go now
push,
that I
so
want
we
to
Push
lead,
the woman.
I want to, if I decide to do that, I want to do party politics.
Yes.
And I say, okay, I want to go in either with the CPDM or SDF, and I want to be the chair lady for these parties. Do you know what will happen? Before I know it, I'll be locked up. That's the first thing. They're going to lock me up. They're going to punish me. They're going to look for those things that will make me, that will really frustrate me. Then I give up.
Pashibel,
Yes.
let's take the case of the SDF. You want to be the president of the national chair of the SDF. You register with a ward. From a ward, you identify with a district, and then the region, and then c'est comme ça, non? C'est que le PCR, c'est aussi. Tu pars dans les cellules, et c'est comme ça, non? How do you just enter a party now? You say you want to leave.
I just quoted an example. I just quoted an example.
What about the other women who started?
No, my question. You have not answered my question. My question
Women,
is: we have men who are leading political
are
parties.
very good. Women would be very good political leaders. We have Kawala, who is doing a great job. She's a woman. She's doing good.
More than the men.
We have Noran. Why are we going far?
Noran Foster.
Noran is doing a good job.
No, she's a PM. Does she have a political party?
She does.
Cabral.
Okay, it's your party member.
Yeah, but we have.
But she's not the leader, right?
Yes.
She's not the leader. So if tomorrow she wants,
est-ce que c'est parce qu'elle n'est pas présidente nationale qu'elle n'impacte pas d'ailleurs plus que Cabral?
That is why I am saying that women are very good leaders when it comes to politics, to political parties. They will do an amazing job.
No, but the question first of all to me is insulting because you're talking as if blood is running in your system and water is running in a woman's system.
That question
all
is
have
out
water.
of place.
Why are you?
We all have blood. I mean,
No.
How can you say that a woman is a woman? Can it be the same? It's like the man is so superior. What is running in his body is more than blood. It's black. It's red, just like women here. So apologize.
Yeah, that question was out of place.
Please. The question is not out of place.
It's okay.
The topic for today is: can women do better if given greater decision-making roles? And that is the question I'm asking. At the level of political parties,
a woman
if women were given the presidential roles, are you saying that we would have had a better political landscape in Cameroon?
Sure. Yes.
So what is insulting in
Research shows that research shows that even though women are not, the majority of women, even though in every decision-making position, the majority is not women. Research shows that the one woman that has occupied a post, a position of leadership, has done the results are always 80% more than that of...
In Cameroon or out of Cameroon?
In the whole world.
In the world.
No, we are talking Cameroon now.
In the whole world. And even Cameroon, because when we just give an example, a very clear example here of Noran Foster, for example, who is not even the leader of her party. But look at the impact that she's creating.
Est-ce que c'est son ambition? Parce qu'il y a aussi ça, en fait. C'est vrai qu'on demande que les femmes fassent ci, mais quel est ce que nous-mêmes on veut personnellement? Parce que il ne faut pas seulement qu'on dise on veut des femmes présidentes, mais est-ce que nous-mêmes on veut être présidente? Est-ce que véritablement c'est l'ambition que l'on a? C'est aussi ça la question. Et quels sont les moyens qu'on se donne pour y arriver? Parce que on ne va rien nous donner. Moi, je fais que le dire. Il faut que si on veut vraiment quelque chose, on ne donne jamais rien. Si tu viens, tu te dis que tu veux devenir ceci, il faut te donner les moyens d'y arriver. Il faut faire un travail de fond, travailler pour pouvoir avancer et pour pouvoir être reconnu. Maintenant, on a des barrières elles sont tellement énormes parce que les barrières que les femmes ont, les hommes ne les ont pas. On a d'abord les barrières qui sont l'éducation. On nous éduque en disant, toi, tu vas faire une bonne femme, une bonne épouse. Il y a les barrières, la maternité. Quand une femme travaille, et dès qu'elle est enceinte, tu vois, certains patrons commencent à faire un genre. Soit on t'envoie au quartier et tout. Ça te prend au moins 2 ans pour te ressaisir, te remettre à niveau et revenir. Donc, imagine si tu veux avoir 2, 3, 4 enfants, ça réduit. Donc, parfois, certains boss se disent, si je lui donne des responsabilités, peut-être qu'elle va tomber enceinte et voilà où on va se retrouver. Donc, on a ce type de réalité, ce type de discrimination. Puis même dans les écoles, quand une femme tombe enceinte au lycée, on lui demande de rentrer à la maison. Donc, on empêche même parfois les femmes de continuer à s'instruire malgré le fait qu'il faut que vous ayez une sorte de dérogation faite par votre mari, qui prouve que vous êtes marié avant de continuer au lycée. Ça, ce sont des barrières qui continuent toujours à nous nuire. Mais maintenant que nous, les femmes, nous prenons conscience parce qu'on a beaucoup plus d'instruction, on va plus loin, on devient autonome de plus en plus, on se donne des moyens. On ne va pas simplement se dire il faut effectivement tout cela, mais il faut aussi que les femmes soient là, qu'on ait l'embarras du choix.
Les femmes sont là.
On est l'embarras. Les femmes sont là, c'est vrai. On est toutes présentes. Mais je vous ai pris par exemple l'exemple, on allait aux élections présidentielles. Les femmes sont plus de 55, on est plus de 60% de la population. Mais lors de l'élection présidentielle, il n'y a qu'1 million de femmes qui ont voté sur 3 millions. Vous voyez donc, même là, même seulement aller voter, c'est compliqué. Et avoir des candidatures, je vous ai parlé du problème des candidatures. Comment les partis politiques souffrent même pour avoir des candidatures féminines. Les filles, vous parlez bien, vous avez beaucoup de volonté, vous pouvez réaliser. Rejoignez un parti politique et allez-y. Allez montrer comme Noran Foster l'a fait. Elle est allée, elle a eu ce courage-là, au-delà d'une femme entrepreneur. Elle a décidé d'aller militer dans un parti et d'aller devant le suffrage universel. Et aujourd'hui, on se rend compte qu'elle développe beaucoup de capacités. Elle nous montre que oui, c'est possible. Donc, nous aussi, nous devons prendre les devants.
Qu'est-ce que votre parti fait en fait pour encourager toutes ces femmes-là dans votre parti? Parce que depuis les élections...
Non, ils ont été investis, Ils ont été investis.
After the elections, how many empowerment workshops have they had with women in their party?
Ok, ça c'est une magnifique question. Effectivement, on s'est rendu compte que l'un des problèmes qui empêchait le leadership vraiment féminin d'émerger, c'est un manque d'autonomie, notamment financière. Beaucoup de femmes, à la veille des élections, ne peuvent pas candidater. Et ça fait pas sérieux. Même si tu as toutes les bonnes idées et que tu peux pas payer une caution de 50 000, là, c'est problématique. Donc, on est en train de prendre des mesures aujourd'hui pour que nous, dans le PCRN, nous les femmes, on s'organise en entreprise participative et solidaire, justement, pour créer de la valeur ajoutée, pour pouvoir justement permettre à celles qui n'ont pas forcément des revenus, d'avoir des revenus. Mais une fois qu'elles ont ces revenus, nous pouvons créer donc un organe qui peut imposer ces femmes-là. Parce que nous devons arriver à un stylo.
Nous allons. Il n'y a pas de cas pratique. C'est ça le problème.
Je vous parle d'un cas pratique. Je vous parle d'un cas pratique. Quand je dis que nous sommes en train de mettre sur pied
depuis la dernière élection était quand?
C'est ce qu'elle permettez-moi de le dire. Permettez-moi de vous le dire. On a déjà créé au moins ce 5 GIC. Depuis 2018, depuis 2020, nous avons créé 5 GIC. au Cameroun et c'est beaucoup plus tenu par des femmes. Donc c'est pour dire que on ne peut pas encore parler des résultats parce que ça fait pratiquement moins d'1 an en fait. Donc excusez encore on est encore dans le allon, mais il y a une volonté déjà.
A member of the party, no. Now, let's go away from politics, from the business. Please, let us look at it from the business perspective. How very involved women are they doing far greater in business? At least there are no bigger risks there now. Nobody is holding you from getting into a business.
Yeah, more women are becoming economically autonomous. More women are creating businesses. This is not even something that started today.
Okay.
If you want to look at it, just go to the market. Women are there, fending for their homes by selling. At least that is something that women have been doing. That's why they say women is the backbone of the home, even because most at times, majority even of women are breadwinners in their homes, because they are economically very savvy, and they provide for their family. So when it comes to business, women are more involved, and what needs to be done now is how these women can, what we are trying to, for example, with my organization, the Leading and Enterprising Women of Africa, what we are trying to do is to let women go beyond, that small budget, those small budgets that they have, to become, why not become millionaires, become billionaires and all of that, so that with that, having been empowered financially, you can have the voice. You can, like what my co-panelist was just saying, you need money in order to be in certain positions, in order to say some, give orders, for example. So we are trying to get women to get out of the small businesses, to become global, to get into the global economy. Right now, even with this COVID-19, which is the topic of this Women's Day celebration, how to lead during COVID-19. Women are supposed to harness, because everything has become digitalized, women are supposed to harness the power of the digital world in order to grow their businesses, get into markets that are beyond, their geographical borders and so on.
Elle a précisé quelque chose d'essentiel, partie d'un petit business. Je l'ai soulevé tout à l'heure, l'ambition. Beaucoup de femmes sont entreprenantes. Il suffit de sortir pour se rendre compte de cela. Mais vous allez voir les femmes avoir la même position pendant 20 ans. Et sans véritablement voir grand.
Personne qui les empêche alors là-bas.
Justement, ça c'est justement ce que je suis en train de dire, que nous-mêmes encore...
C'est l'ambition, comme elle disait.
L'ambition.
C'est l'ambition d'abord.
C'est d'abord personnel.
Vous avez dit que c'est...
Non, on a énuméré nos barrières. On a énuméré nos barrières.
You cannot change it, those are contributing factors.
Mais maintenant, on a aussi ce problème d'ambition et ce problème de confiance en soi pour parfois prendre des risques. Parce que c'est essentiellement cela, prendre des risques, que ce soit dans l'entrepreneuriat, que ce soit dans la politique, ou que ce soit même au travail, dans n'importe quel domaine. Il faut savoir prendre des risques. Et ça, c'est parfois cette retenue-là qu'on n'arrive pas à avoir pour faire changer, pour faire bouger les choses. Donc, travailler sur nous, c'est essentiel. Et c'est bien d'avoir des associations, des cadres comme ça, là, où on nous booste en réalité. Mais une fois que c'est fait, il faut véritablement que ça se matérialise et qu'on quitte d'une situation d'un petit business à une grosse entreprise. Parce que c'est ce qu'il faut. Beaucoup plus de femmes directrices de grosses entreprises. Là aussi, on pourra montrer que, en fait, quand on décide, quand on le veut, on peut faire la différence.
On peut faire la différence. Pachibel, I want us to look at what should be done to get women in greater decision-making roles. It should not be given; they have to take it. Would women sit and complain every day that give us? What should women do themselves to take it, or to get themselves into these positions?
The first thing I would want to tell women is that they should be able to tell themselves what they want. Do they want to take these positions of leadership? If they do, then they should go for it. They can start by empowering themselves. We have so many programs going on now for free, even for free. So they can enroll in any of these leadership programs, empower themselves, and then follow their dreams. They should not stay behind, fold their hands. They should forget, because the criticisms will always be there. We would have the barriers, but we should learn to break these barriers to get what we want. Irrespective of what, they will insult, they will try to pull you down, they will try to do all of those things. But the women should learn to ignore all of those and then go for what they really want.
Should we start with education?
Of course, they should start with education. That is why I said they have so many programs going on for free even. So they can pick up.
Before education even, there's supposed to be a mindset shift. There's supposed to be a mindset shift, because what we should admit is that the growth of the woman is an evolutive process. Women have come from somewhere, and today they are heading to somewhere, and we cannot, defy that fact. And so the first thing is that mindset shift is women should understand that, look, I can become whatever I want to become. I can become whatever that I think it's only for men, if I just acquire, the necessary skills, education that man has acquired, I too can become, or I too can be on that seat. So it starts from the mind. Women should know that, we are no longer in those days where, for example, if a woman, for example, was Minister of Territorial Administration today, I think that the situation in the Northwest and Southwest with the women suffering there would have been alleviated at some level. So mindset, we should change our mindsets and know that we are able to become whatever. We are able, we are capable even of running the highest positions in this nation, for example. So when we have that mindset already, then we start setting goals on how to get there. And that's how, you start educating yourself, you start getting all these programs that you need, to empower yourself and get to where you want to get to.
Yes, Kevin, Brenda, let's look at Beijing, where so much, I don't want to call it noise, so much information actually went round. No,
please, just laugh with the question. You called my name. I'm waiting for the question.
Sister speaks. Okay, I was saying that since Beijing, we are still complaining today. Why are things not moving at the pace? Is it that it's the men who are holding you guys, and what should be done to accelerate the process, like the decentralization process now?
All what we've been saying here, Leo, is actually trying to raise some of the issues that are holding women from getting more involved into this. And going back to it, we have highlighted all the points. So I just think that we need a little bit of engagement through. We need engagement. All women should be engaged, because sometimes we even talk like this, Pashibel calls for something, I don't go. So we actually need engagement and solidarity. Solidarity means that even when a woman, you see a woman is mishandled somewhere, even when daddy is telling you that, no, don't go out, tell that, say, daddy, this is a woman, it's my sister, she's down. You need to brave the odds and go there. But and then our families too, I keep insisting on that, because for women who are married and who come from this kind of societies where they think that a woman's place is supposed to be in the kitchen, it's really difficult for her, because you have in-laws, you have even your own parents who make it a hell, your home a hell for you, in the sense that they don't want you to go out there. They think that you associating is meeting more men. They think you going around from this house is actually have a relation. Something always comes up, and it stresses women a lot. So if women can be given that opportunity to shine, they will shine. It's true we have to seize it, but also give us some little light. We will show you that we can only seize it. We can seize it and own the sun, own the moon, everything that has to do with light. So give us that chance.
How would they give you the chance?
I've just talked about some
we
of
should make laws. No, no, I'm saying that no, we should be practical. At least there are persons who will not understand things from your perspective.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you saying that some laws should be enacted? That
discrimination.
For instance, let me go to the village level.
Yeah.
In the villages, they are the women who actually tell the farms what to do. That is a fact. Whatever decisions the funds take to govern the people comes from women. So that is the woman being at that position. But the fund would never make it public that it is the Queen Mother who gives me this advice and who directs me on what to do and what not to do. Now, so if the chiefs can start giving that little respect and space to these women, then it would leave from that chief to the quarter. Do we even have female quarter heads?
We don't.
We don't have female quarter heads. So it will leave from the village to the quarters, from the quarters. I mean, it starts going up right to the government. Yes.
Okay, so that when there's libation.
What is libation? Who prepares the things for the libation?
Yeah.
It's the woman.
I should also talk. When there's libation, is if it's fashion.
No, I hope they did not send you.
Who prepares
the things for the libation?
Okay, Alette, qu'est-ce qu'on doit faire pour faire que les femmes ont plus des positions, oui, qui peuvent amener à prendre des décisions qui ont beaucoup à faire à changer la vie de notre communauté et aussi la vie des femmes.
Alors,
qu'on n'est pas seulement deux ministres femmes, mais plusieurs.
D'abord, il y a des choses qu'on peut faire à notre niveau et il y a des choses qu'on peut attendre aussi et qu'on peut espérer des gouvernants. D'abord, la première chose qu'on doit commencer à faire, comme je l'ai dit tantôt, c'est nous qui éduquons. Donc, commençons déjà à inscrire les notions de masculinité positive à nos garçons. Ça commence par là. Leur apprendre exactement que l'égalité, ça commence d'abord à la maison, en étant juste dans la façon de faire les choses et de redistribuer les tâches. Parce qu'une fois que on entérine déjà dans l'esprit que ben voilà, l'autre doit faire ça, l'autre ne doit pas faire ça parce que l'autre c'est ceci, on crée déjà ce petit déphasage. Maintenant, il y a aussi l'accès à l'éducation. Parfois dans des familles, quand il y a très peu de revenus et qu'il faut choisir entre les enfants qui on va envoyer à l'école, on préfère choisir le garçon. Donc il y a aussi ces petits paradigmes-là qu'on peut changer, nous, à notre niveau, pour faire justement, pour faire avancer la cause féminine. Maintenant, au niveau des mesures qu'on peut entreprendre, il y a des décisions qu'on peut prendre. Notamment, quand on est président de la République, si on veut faire quelque chose de grandiose, on peut faire comme Macky Sall en fait au Sénégal. Dès qu'il a été élu président, il a nommé une femme premier ministre. Donc, c'est possible aussi de prendre ce type de décision, c'est-à-dire que vous imposez votre façon de faire les choses et vous montrez véritablement qu'au-delà des slogans, parce qu'il faut y avoir des slogans, mais il faut des faits capitaux. L'honorable Cabral-Lévy l'a toujours rappelé, s'il est président de la République, une femme sera premier ministre. Il n'y a rien à faire à cela. Donc, ce sont des décisions qu'on peut prendre à un certain niveau. Et avant maintenant de penser à des mesures qu'on peut doser au fur et à mesure pour pouvoir permettre justement aux femmes d'avoir accès à un certain nombre de choses. Par exemple, aujourd'hui, quand une femme travaille et qu'elle est enceinte, elle ne sait pas trop comment gérer la maternité. Parce que les entreprises, les patrons ont l'impression que le rendement peut baisser et autres. Et donc, il faut parfois mettre ces femmes de côté. Comment est-ce qu'on peut protéger ces femmes? Parce qu'on ne peut pas dire qu'elle est la mère de l'humanité. Mais le moment où elle a le plus besoin justement de cette humanité, c'est le moment où on l'abandonne. On peut penser des mesures justement pour accompagner ces femmes-là et permettre à des femmes de s'épanouir tant sur le plan familial que sur le plan professionnel pour les encourager au-delà des décisions fortes qu'on peut décider de prendre.
Okay, but can we also achieve this goal of placing more women in bigger positions through a collective solidarity of women around their own? That is, if you were to have a sister who is doing this, the women, instead of supporting, because you see Cabral Libby will come far ahead of a woman because women supported him against another woman. If women say we want to, can the women not decide to put their own where they want?
When you say women supported Cabral Libby or against their own fellow woman, I really don't get it.
You don't get it? Okay, just make your point. But women can push for
that
their
is
own
why
to get to parliament now.
Yeah, of course. That is why there are so many associations right now, women led associations, where they're talking about coming together for a common good. What common good is that? To lead and give the power or the authority to that woman who is willing or who has the ambition, like Aled just said, who has the ambition to and believes that she can take on a particular role. Those associations, those members are there to empower or to help or to support the women. So I think there are a lot of associations, women associations. All what we need to do is just to adhere into these associations, and what is stopping is, for example, what Kiven just said is this society back home. The men would not want to let the women, get into do what they want to do. So that should stop. We should stop. It should stop from there.
Yeah, but you have the numbers. Why should men stop you from getting into those things? Do you?
I mean, we should be practical. Let's not sugarcoat these things. These things are practical. A man wouldn't want you to be rubbing shoulders with, other men, or giving him a reason that you're fighting.
This is Alette here now.
How many this is one
do
case
you know what she goes through?
Thank you.
This is even one case in a million. This is one case in a million.
Do you know if she has lost a suitor? Do you know if she lost? Do you know what she goes through? It is not
because
easy.
The rate of divorces we should mention this, because the rate of divorces that's ongoing even in Cameroon is because of this.
Yes.
Women have decided to step out and become who they want to become, and the men said it's either you chose this or you chose me.
Are you serious?
Of course. Why do we want to sugarcoat these things? Why do we want to cover the up these things?
Pashibet, you are involved in many activities, human rights and that. Are you accused? Are you held back by men?
I started a campaign online a few months back. If you saw some posts I did, I said my vagina, my property. That was because I was attacked.
Good.
I was attacked. I was accused of sleeping around with men. And that was why each post I did, I ended with my vagina, my property. Yeah. I decide what to do with my body.
Mind your business.
So you don't tell me what to do. You don't put your assumptions on me. So it's a fact.
And they do that to demoralize her.
Any woman who wants to evolve, especially in Cameroon, that woman
is labeled.
Yes,
but it is
labeled a prostitute.
Oh, we are going to do this. We are going to write about you. We are going to. We are going to. We are going to.
The worst are journalists, because if, for example, a journalist is going around maybe having a program where she has to interview men. The moment they see you interviewing a man, they'll say,
how many female journalists have been told to leave their jobs, or
how many female journalists have divorced because of their job?
Men are challenged by their everyday activity.
I mean, we know these cases. We know
it is there. That is
politicians.
It is there.
But I'm baffled by this, because I have the impression that all women are saints they divorce just because they want to threaten their husband.
That's another topic.
That's the impression.
That is a topic for another day.
It is part of the discussion, right? You want to know what limits women.
Yes.
And this is one of the factors that limit
but why are you not
women
raising the
for
other
being
things? You are
a
always
leader.
attacking demand.
We have talked about engagement.
But who are our obstacles? What is our major obstacle? Is it not the man?
And not the women.
It's a man. Tradition.
Je crois que peut-être que les années prochaines, on va plus célébrer la femme, mais plutôt la masculinité positive. Parce qu'effectivement, on ne peut pas nier que l'homme pose un problème.
Oui.
The UN went ahead to even create a program called He for She.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because it was
what
time
you guys are saying,
for
yeah.
To get in,
it was time for men to get involved in the elevation of women.
Kiven, what you guys are saying here is a little bit frightening because there are women who have succeeded in politics and other domains because of the push of their husbands. Now,
how many of them?
We are not
How many of
refusing.
them? How many of
We
them?
are not refusing.
Justement, quand il y a des hommes qui soutiennent leurs épouses, elles sont comme Noran Fodzing.
Yes.
Députées.
Beautiful.
And how many of them?
Madame Joya,
The minister of Bar Acharos.
Yes.
Her husband supports her.
So why are you
How many
of them?
Effectivement, quand vous voyez même Yahoo et Isatou, c'est vraiment le mari soutient. Donc ça veut dire que quand il y a la masculinité positive, ça veut dire qu'il accepte que sa femme soit sous les projecteurs et que lui soit en retrait. En ce moment-là, il y a un épanouissement. Malheureusement, la nature parfois de l'homme qui est celle de la compétitivité fait en sorte que lorsqu'il observe la réussite de sa femme, ça lui rappelle son échec. Lui, par contre, la femme, elle, quand tu réussis, c'est elle qui vient.
La famille, mon mari, la famille.
Tu vois. Mais l'homme, c'est pas ça. En fait, la société lui dit que, gars, tu es maintenant un diplomate, c'est toi l'ambassadeur. Tu viens seulement accompagner les hommes ici. On t'appelle monsieur, on te donne maintenant un autre nom. Et ça aussi, ça crée un peu une sorte de complexe. Quand tu n'as pas la maturité suffisante, alors tu commences à rejeter ça sur ta femme. Tu commences à remarquer qu'elle rentre tard, en oubliant qu'elle a des postes de responsabilité. Voilà. Et parce qu'elle a des postes de responsabilité, qui lui donnent un bon salaire, elle doit forcément faire plus de travail que d'autres et rentrer un peu plus tard. Donc, on commence à remarquer si ou ça et ça devient problématique.
I know female politicians whose husbands have refused they should have a babysitter or a house girl in their homes.
Yeah.
How would she blend that? You tell me.
You're not asking
Not only politicians, even normal civil servants.
Normal
civil
who are
servants
involved in order to bring money into the family. They recognize her only when the money comes. But after that, throughout the period when she toys and everything, they tell her no. Take care of the baby at the same time. You do the work and do this and do that and do that. You satisfy me.
Okay, let me take some messages here. Maybe people will appreciate what you guys are saying here.
I know they will not appreciate, but just take them.
Greetings to all in the panel. Please, I think men should give chance to women. And I see even those in the panel are giving convinced ideas. Men have failed, women should try. Bine Paul writing from Yaoundé. We are failed.
You are failed.
Bine Paul. It means that you yourself, you are failed.
He's already conscious. He's conscious. He's not a failure because he already has that consciousness.
Shu writing from Quen in Bamenda says, good evening, Mr. Coom. It depends on the caliber of woman. That is their background. You know that some women change like a Cameroon. You know that in a society, women are believed to take care of their husbands. That is why there are not many in the government. Okay. Yeah, but you should take care of us now. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to your guest tonight. The women said they can do better than men if given greater opportunities to lead. I want to remind them that all male leaders are also married to women. This means that the wives of these politicians have also contributed to an extent to what they are complaining. Let them also access the hidden role played by the wives of these male politicians. I'm writing from Chang. Good evening to you. Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Liu and beautiful ladies. Good evening, Mr. Liu and beautiful ladies. Rwanda has 62% women in assembly. You visit that country at the level villages, subdivision, division, etc. You see mostly women organized and mobilized. Our women are timid, lazy, lack courage and focus. They lack the word put a woman. That happened nowhere in the world. It takes hard work to get up. John Ngeson, writing from Muyuka. Good evening to you, John. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and all the women in the studio. I appreciate the program. On my own opinion, I think women should be given greater positions in decision making. But Africa, as a patriarchal society, it should be 60% men and 40% women. For the reason 40 is because women are like that. They have round characters. They change with the changing situation. Happy Women's Day to all the women of Misaje, especially my mother, Madame Espina Kisang. Thanks. I'm Koji Justice Mabu, writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you. Mr. Kum, I feel sorry for you today. Difficult to argue with women. Just allow them spit out what is blocking their chest. Today is their day. Onkunji, writing from Bamenda. Okay, it's true. It's not easy with them. It's not easy now. When money is there. This one says, Pratibha Dev Singh Patil of India served as the 12th president from 2007 to 2012. Christian Fernandez, Dr. Kirchner of Argentina was the first female president. Cameroon women can rule and do well if the elections is transparent, and male politicians stop suppressing women when they want to rise. Kenneth is writing from Bomenda. Madam Nelly, writing from Limbe, says, good evening to you and everybody. Good evening to you too. This one says, I want to take one last. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and happy Women's Day to those brave women. Why are you insisting on the president post before women should be appointed in strategic position? Are they not learned women in Cameroon? Daniel is writing from Victoria. Good evening to you, Daniel. Mr. Liu, Ashiao is tough containing these women today. More grace. Greetings to the powerful women in the studio. Morgan writing from Bonaberry, enjoying the program. Thank you, Morgan. Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's Kate Chim from Bamenda. Your program is really interesting. Women are women's enemies. And if there is a woman who refuses that woman is just pretending. Albert, writing from Bamenda, says, good evening, Mr. Liu, and to the women in the studio. Why are those women talking about women occupying strategic positions in the government when Madame Edith Kawala stood as a presidential candidate in 2011? Why did women not rally behind her? Good evening to you, Albert. Good evening. I'm Prince Bensi. I think everyone has a think, but sure fact is that those who are in power don't have the ideas, why those who are not in power have the ideas. So it's not just that easy the way you see it. Even if you step on that position, you will lose all those ideas you are sharing here as a woman. Okay. Mr. Leo, good evening to you and the ladies. I think that women in decision making is only after this regime, because even the men who are there, their decisions are all given by the head of state. My name is Nji, writing from Limbe. Anita Enotakan says, good evening to you, Mr. Kuman. Happy Women's Day to your panelists. Thank you for dedicating this program for Women and Women's Day. Answering your question, I will personally say that Cameroonian women will not be able to hold greater decision-making roles in Cameroon. There are many reasons to why this is so. Weak educational curriculum, suppression of women, lack of respect for women, sexism, inferiority complex from the women themselves, and poverty that runs among women. Women have not been given a chance at all or heard in any way. Am I not making them to talk now? Are you not hearing them?
You're suppressing us.
Four of you?
Yes,
can I suppress you?
You're suppressing us.
Good evening, Mr. Liu, and happy Women's Day to the brave women out there. Mr. Liu, those ladies in the studio should see the woman in the other regions don't care about their fellow women in the Northwest and Southwest regions. This shows that the women in the two regions are not from, well, Akko Success writing from the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi to be precise. Good evening to you. Marie, watching from Limburg, good evening to you. Say those beautiful ladies have hit the nail on the head. I congratulate them and I'm ready to work with them. Wow. Register with the political party. Good evening to the beautiful women in the studio. Belinda writing from Limburg. Good evening to you, Belinda. Yes. Let us end. Now, how should, after the celebration, today is the 8th of March, a day that is dedicated to celebrate the woman. After now, there is always a theme. How do we ensure that the theme that is given this year, by the time we celebrate another year, some of the things earmarked or contained in the theme is even realized? Do we have any follow-up to that, or we just forget about the theme of today and then wait for next year?
I'm not in a better position to answer that, because even when
you are a journalist, at least you are busy.
That's what I'm saying. Even when the meeting, they sat and decided on this year's theme, I was not consulted. I don't think Washibe was also consulted. So it's true that they look at what is important, what is at stake at a particular moment, and to everything Cameroon is COVID-19, which is good, but how many, if you look at the number of women and young girls affected by COVID-19 and the number of women and young girls affected by the crisis we have, you would rethink the theme to use for an occasion like this one. And to talk about the next one, we don't know, there can still be something that comes up and then we tune it towards that direction.
Yeah, but follow up.
And again, this is what I said, and let me just repeat it. Now, it is the government who took this decision without consulting us. We're not consulted. But again, I think the Women's Day is a time for evaluation. It's a time where women evaluate, look at what they've done, how far they've gone, and what is lacking, and how they can forge ahead. Now, are we given the opportunity to do this as women? Will somebody go to the grassroots to see that mama that was working maybe 2 ridges of a vegetable? By the 8th of March next year, she has had a plot of land. She has expanded on the vegetable production. No, because nobody knows about her and nobody cares about her. So it is very difficult when people, specific people, sit in their AC offices and take decisions on behalf of a group of people without proper consultations.
That is a question I asked earlier on. I don't know whether she did not get it. Was this not also an opportunity to spotlight those rural women? We may say the woman who supplies the highest quantity of, say, persi at Matazem, the woman who cultivates vegetable in Muya. Are these not also opportunities for these women to be highlighted?
Most of the theme and everything is actually not community based. It is. I always look at it like people just sit and they say, okay,
they look at the international, the general theme, and then to break it down to the Cameroon level, they have to do consultations.
Yes.
The consultations, to me, are never done. They decide. A few women come together and they say, okay, this is what is intended internationally. Let's bring it to this level without proper consultations.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu and the beautiful ladies in the studio. My Philo writing from Spain. I like your show. Thank you very much, Philo. Good evening. I just wish to wish Happy Women's Day to all the Chani women in Mr. Okay, this evening. Mr. Liu. Evening to you. Good evening. It's true. Women can be good if children and women have been killed. Women have over money than men. Women have tears in their eyes and in their hearts than men. Men money fires their backs. Thanks. God bless you, Pastor. I understand. Women feel more than men. Men are looking for money. Good evening, my prime. Good program. It's Javin writing from Bibunde. This one says, to you all in this. Women play a big role in women's life. Very true. so they can make a change. Be Rudolph Wright from Douala. L'année prochaine, après cette célébration aujourd'hui, on attend l'année prochaine. Est-ce que vous espérez voir des choses faites pendant cette année? Comme ça, quand on célèbre encore l'année prochaine, on est à mesure de dire que, OK, après cette célébration, voici ce que nous avions fait pour les familles consolées.
Bon, ça va faire beaucoup de choses qu'on espère de ce gouvernement et on sait certainement que, comme d'habitude, on n'en obtiendra pas grand-chose. Je ne crois pas qu'on puisse obtenir grand-chose de ce gouvernement. C'est pour ça que moi, tout au long de cette émission, j'ai vraiment voulu mettre en avant que c'est les solutions que nous-mêmes on prendra qui seront plus adaptées parce que nous connaissons les problèmes que nous avons. Nous savons exactement les identifier. Mais surtout, si nous pensons simplement que la simple revendication va permettre à ce que cela change, on se trompe. À un moment donné, il va falloir prendre des décisions nous-mêmes. Et si on décide de s'organiser à tous les niveaux, ça veut dire que chaque femme qui nous écoute, à tous nos niveaux, nous devons prendre nos décisions, que ce soit au niveau des associations, que ce soit au niveau des partis politiques, au niveau des entreprises. Si on veut pouvoir être écouté en tant que femme et qu'on veut pouvoir mettre en avant les valeurs qui sont les nôtres, il va falloir qu'on décide soit de s'engager. L'engagement peut commencer dans le domaine, dans la société civile. Ça peut commencer aussi dans des partis politiques. Mais chacun de nous doit faire son effort. Il faut également se dire que si nous ne votons pas, notre point de vue ne sera pas pris en considération. C'est pour ça que nous, les femmes aussi, on doit s'organiser pour aussi s'inscrire et voter. Parce qu'une fois que vous avez décidé qu'il faut faire changer les choses, il faut faire évoluer les choses, on ne va pas aller s'asseoir et commencer à mettre nos vernis tranquilles. Parce que les choses ne changeront pas, surtout que ce sont toujours les hommes. Donc, tout ce qu'on peut aujourd'hui demander, c'est véritablement cette masculinité positive. Que les hommes comprennent que nous ne sommes pas dans une guerre. On n'est pas dans la recherche d'une pseudo-supériorité. C'est vous qui aimez ça. Nous, on n'aime pas véritablement au-delà de toute chose. Mais on veut ce qu'on mérite parce qu'on a des aptitudes et c'est une évidence. Maintenant, il faudrait aussi que vous puissiez accepter un certain nombre de choses parce qu'on a très souvent relevé que les hommes posent souvent certains problèmes. Mais moi, je me dis, je ne peux pas changer l'autre. Je ne peux que changer moi-même. Donc, je ne peux pas demander aux femmes, je ne peux pas fondamentalement espérer des hommes un changement. Je peux l'espérer, mais je ne peux pas le faire. Par contre, moi, à mon niveau en tant que femme, je peux changer mon attitude. Je peux décider justement d'avoir une attitude plus positive. C'est d'ailleurs le sens de mon engagement en réalité en politique. C'est aussi dans ce sens de montrer que oui, on peut décider à son petit niveau de faire évoluer les choses, chacun à notre niveau, parce qu'à un moment donné, quand toutes ces femmes-là font des revendications, il faut celles qui vont porter ces revendications-là. Il faut vraiment celles qui vont comprendre. Parce qu'à un moment donné, il faut bien que s'il faille choisir les gens, que nous, les femmes, nous soyons présentes. Et ça, c'est très important. Donc, arrêtons parfois aussi de nous contenter des frivolités, parce que c'est aussi ça un souci. On se contente d'un certain nombre de frivolités et cela ne nous amène pas forcément à être pris au sérieux comme on le voudrait, ou même comme on le mériterait. Parce qu'on mérite véritablement tout ce qu'on veut absolument. Mais les barrières qui sont dans notre tête là, ces premières barrières là, c'est d'abord elles qui doivent se déconstruire.
Okay. Madame Ruth, what should be the way forward for women? The four of you are here talking about the need for women to be given greater roles. Are you forming a coalition after a year to move forward? A coalition between Pashibel's organization and Sister Speak, and then PCRN, and then is it what's your
Lower.
Have you come?
Lower.
Lower. Yes.
I am very. First of all, I would say that I'm very optimistic about the situation of women in Cameroon and beyond. I would say that even after this day, I'll get to what the question you or the point that you mentioned earlier, where you were asking is this not the day for women to be honored, celebrated, given awards, for the
especially
little,
the rural woman,
for the little or the achievements that they are accomplishing down there and all of that. I would say that we have, or maybe you men have taken it like it's only on this day that women are celebrated, or women can talk, or women can. You realize that women have.
Are we the ones sewing the covers? How do you say women?
No,
are you not the ones
Women's Day
the
is not limited to covers.
So what is kaba in this
Women's Day is not limited to covers. It's just to let you know that your question comes in. You don't know that there are a lot of award ceremonies that go on before, not on Women's Day, but there are organizations that award. For example, my organization awards women, honors women, celebrates women who are daring, who do things that are beyond, societal barriers and all of that.
In preparation for the Women's Day.
Not in preparation for the Women's
As
Day.
the years go by,
because women
in the course
don't
of the
only
year,
work.
their activities, to
women
motivate.
don't only work on Women's Day, or women are not only powerful on the 8th of March. Women do work in June. Women do work on January.
Tomorrow women will still work.
Tomorrow women will work, and there will be programs that are celebrating these women. There will be workshops that
and we are working now.
To elevate these women.
Nobody talks about complaints
Yeah.
about Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Nobody complains about Valentine's Day.
Just to let you know, that's why I'm optimistic, because women have gone beyond all these stereotypes and that society and men want to label on them to say that they have maybe one day to rejoice.
Yeah.
That's not what is happening on the ground. Women are working every day from January to December.
So men created this day for you.
Well, what I'm trying to say is women are working from January to December to show or whatever, to add their voice to the change that they want to see in society.
Okay, we want to thank you all. I'll end with this last message from Mabison, rising from Kumba. The greatest trouble women face come from other women. For example, divorce cases are always caused by another woman. Okay, we want to thank you.
Is that what she said, or you're adding that?
No, I don't want to read it motamotash.
Is that what she said?
No, that is. I said I'm ending it with it. Can I create a message?
How is that related to decision
making? Yeah.
In
should I not read messages? This has been the most difficult panel. What is wrong? I'm maybe sweating.
How is that related to getting into PCRN?
Merci d'être venu, s'il vous plaît.
Merci pour l'invitation. C'était un panel très chargé. Je vous ai jamais vu autant transpirer, donc ça veut dire que les femmes elles ont chauffé aujourd'hui. Et donc je suis véritablement ravie, et voilà, ça prouve que véritablement on a le potentiel pour faire bouger les choses. Il faut simplement qu'on l'exploite.
Kiven, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I'm happy that you gave us this opportunity. I wish that you could have had women since the 1st of March, so we can.
This is Women's Month.
We can talk about encourage more women.
Not just one day.
This is Women's Month.
I appreciate it, because some people, some other channels never even did anything, but you actually did it. But I'm saying next time we start on March 1st.
Every day I'm pleading that women should come on this. I'm saying every day people should come.
Some of us we're not usually very available.
Yes.
But the one moment we have, we come
here.
Thank you for coming, Pashibe.
Well, thank you so much for the invite, and thank you for letting me. I'm happy I reconnect with Ruth today after a very long time. So to my sisters out there, I just want to tell them, don't give up. Believe in you, keep doing you, and remain you. Trust in you, because you are you, and you're the best of every other person that exists in this country right now. And to the men, I just want to call on you to give us breathing space. You're suffocating us. Join your brothers who are encouraging women to see the light. Be the next he for she ambassador, so that we can have the Cameroon that we want. Thank you.
Also advice Anyway, no, let me not open another kind of one. So thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me. All I have to say is we women should break down limiting beliefs, we should get rid of every limitation that we think or that we sometimes put on our way, and we should believe in ourselves. We should know that we can go. We should go global. If we're into business, it's time for us to go global.
We should not remain local.
Let's not remain local.
Okay. I hope that the women are going to be more regular on this platform. I know what I'm saying. Thank you for the production, Eli and Desmond, and to you, Bertrand and Noel, and also to you, Tambe Bryant, who is supervising the work we do out here. Where are the women taking us so there's no celebration?
When are you taking us? Did you prepare a venue?
You see now.
No, tell us the venue.
You see now.
Tell us where you're prepared.
Stay blessed. Bye-bye.